We make our new Kentucky nuggets like no burger place can. With the
8:17 right now. We're spending some time every day this week traveling with Steve Fox to some wonderful parts of our country that are really off the beaten path for most of us. This morning, Steve takes us to Alabama and the Gulf Coast.
As you drive west from Pensacola, Florida to Mobile, Alabama, you go to a part of the country that, if the stories are to be believed, more or less resembles the old Deep South of song and fond memory. Now, as you go along, you can't help but notice the beautiful white sand beaches stretch off in all directions. But you also can't help but notice the incredible amount of construction, especially along the area that's known as Gulf Shores, which some people have come to call the Redneck Riviera.
It's south of the Mason-Dixon line, about as far as you can go. That's the Redneck Riviera on the Gulf of Mexico.
The fellow who immortalized the term Redneck Riviera in song is Shine Powell, who's been known to hang out at the Pink Pony Pub in Gulf Shores. My keen reporter's instincts told me that we were expected at the Pink Pony.
Redneck, to me, is anybody that works hard for a living and doesn't expect a handout from the government, you know, and makes honest living, and yet loves to have a good time, too, enjoy life.
About this time, I gained a new measure of respect for so-called rednecks. It happened shortly after I did what a lot of visitors do on this road. I tried to make a turn and got stuck in the soft sand. I mean, really stuck. Thought I was there for good. Considered putting the van up for sale as a condominium. But then came help from an unexpected source, a gang of construction workers on their lunch hour who went to work kind of like a human tow truck.
Oh, my God.
Suddenly I have a great newfound affection for rednecks. Suddenly it's a warm word to me. I don't know what it is.
Next we headed north, away from the Gulf and a little inland toward Magnolia Springs. Since 1916, people who live along the river here have been getting their mail delivered by boat. The route would take George James about 80 miles to drive, but only 28 miles on the water.
You get to know the people along the road? You get to learn a lot of the people. You know, it's kind of nice because when the boat breaks, and, you know, people will sit there, and if you're running late, they'll start calling around to find out where you're at. Isn't that pretty? This is spectacular.
Continuing west, we drove through Mobile, Alabama's oldest city, and got a quick look at a number of its gracious, historic homes. My personal favorite was this unit, featuring what you might call million-dollar movie architecture. We were headed for the northern outskirts in an area known as Africatown, once the home of Cudjoe Lewis, who arrived in 1859 on the last ship bringing slaves to America. Many of them are buried in this cemetery, and some of their descendants still live nearby.
Very few blacks in America can trace that lineage, and we think of this as the #1 point of being proud of the fact that we can leave here and go back to the various countries in Africa and then find children and grandchildren right here in Africatown, USA.
Then we moved on out of Mobile and headed once again into the country.
We're now about 15 miles or so southwest of Mobile. We're heading towards a guy that I've wanted to meet ever since I read about him in Time magazine not all that long ago. His name is Eugene Roach, and he is supposed to be one heck of a checkers player.
We found Eugene at his usual spot, outside his gas station, playing checkers against all comers. He estimates his lifetime total is more than 500,000 games, including one with me.
The game is actually hopeless now. Anytime I accomplish a man on you, you have nothing to fight back with.
I have lost already?
No, you bad beat.
I'm bad beaten?
Yeah.
The thing about traveling on the back roads like this is that even when you get lost, it can be interesting.
This road, hit 188 and take you right. Go right straight back to Bayou La Batre.
Bayou La Batre.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Thanks for your help. I appreciate it.
Y'all be good.
Thank you. Well, eventually we made it to the little fishing port of Bayou La Batre, where Rodney Lyons was waiting for us on the dock outside his Bama Seafood Company. Rodney and a good number of his neighbors make their living by pulling millions of tons of shrimp out of the Gulf of Mexico.
I wouldn't think there was over one or two businesses in this area that is not seafood related. This is my home. I wouldn't think of living anywhere else, and I've never been to any place as beautiful as this.
That strong sense of place and of belonging is not unique to Alabama and the people of the Deep South, but I have to admit that I understand now why they call this down home.
Steve Fox, all of you down in Alabama, thank you for that. And tomorrow, Steve takes us to the area called the Four Corners. It's where Colorado, Utah, Arizona, and New Mexico meet. And that's tomorrow.
Won't believe your ears.